We are delighted to welcome Moremi Marwa to our WBBA Leadership Series. Moremi Marwa is the Director General of TTCL, and maybe I can kick off with a first question about, could you give us a brief overview of TTCL, the market it serves, its main functions and its main interests?
Thank you, Martin, and thank you for inviting me to this conversation. TTCL, also known as Tanzania Telecommunications Corporation, is a state-owned entity that has been here for like more than 5 decades. But we changed our structure and through a law that came out in 2017. And that's when we became a corporation. So 100% owned by the government of Tanzania. And we play a vital role in Tanzania's digital economy, but also the whole telecommunication space in Tanzania. Given our history, even before we liberalized the telecom space, we were here as an entity that serves our community in the telecommunication area. So we have different aspects that we do serve here in the country. We are in the business of the broadband backbone. We are in the business of fiber to the home, fiber to the office. We are in the business of mobile telecom. We are in the business of mobile money, which is also a significant aspect of telecoms in most of the African countries nowadays, combining the telecom and financial services. So we are in that space as well. And finally, we are also in the business of data center. So we are like an integrated telecom company, touching almost every aspect of our of this sector, and that's the kind of business that we are involved in.
Fascinating. And roughly how many customers does TTCL have?
In the mobile space, we have like 1.7 million customers, and our market share is not significant, but we are close to around 2% of our market share. But our significant area of business is in the fixed telecom, where our market share is about 60%. And this is based on our, as I said, our historical background, where we were more on the fixed line. We used to use copper, but now we are using fiber. So that's the space that we have the strong mandate. And hence our market share is about 60%, and that is closer to around 100,000 customers.
Excellent, excellent. And I mean, as I mentioned earlier, we're delighted that you've joined the World Broadband Association. From your perspective, what are the most exciting opportunities looking ahead for the broadband industry, and particularly the broadband industry in Africa and in Tanzania? And also, I suppose, how do you think the World Broadband Association might help?
First of all, we are thankful of the efforts that we have made, but also what we have done with WBA so far. It's good that we are now part of this platform. We are part of this association. Being a global association, there are a lot of benefits that we expect to get out of being there and sitting on that table, and be able to benchmark and learn from other members of the association. And we'll be able to also bring our experience on the table, but also we expect to have a lot of lessons that we can learn from others. For us, the aspect of broadband is relatively new in some context of it. And therefore, much as what we are doing with the national ICT broadband backbone and serving all these countries which are landlocked, and we are the only one that can serve them, which are our neighbors across the eastern and also southern and northern part of our country. So we have that role that we are bringing broadband to all these people from the subsea cables through our national ICT backbone. But as also I indicated, we leverage on that capability that we have and the capacity that we have from the broadband to go into making sure that people in their homes, in their offices, also they have access to the broadband through the either FTTH or FTTO. And in that aspect, since we are rolling this and we have been doing it for the past 2 or 3 years, which is not a long history given the space itself, but now being part of the World Broadband Association and learning from other experiences, there are things that we'll take back home and see how we can be able to bring this broadband even to reach into more homes and more offices, being corporates or SMEs, small and medium enterprises, and as I said, people's homes and all that. But also it goes beyond just people's homes and offices. It serves some larger, greater good, such as enabling people to have access to some other forms of learning, so education, health and services, or even agriculture and all these places where the digital aspect do apply. And since we have the national ICT broadband backbone and enabling now everyone, the other mobile network operators, internet service providers, not only in the country, but also, as I said, in these neighboring countries. So we see ourselves as a key player, a significant one, not only in Tanzania, but also in countries like Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi. Now we are going to DRC through a cable that we are landing around Lake Tanganyika, but also we are serving Zambia, Malawi, Mozambique. So we have a significant role that we do play in making sure that we enable not only our people, but also people around the neighboring countries to have access to the broadband, which reaches to us through our show here in Indian Ocean in Dar es Salaam in Tanzania.
That's fascinating. I hadn't realized how important I suppose a hub for a large portion of the African continent that Tanzania has become with the undersea cables coming into Dar es Salaam. And I think that sort of vision about the importance of your communications network is to all of your neighboring countries really I suppose raises a very interesting point about how even within your own country, but also in these neighboring countries, how are you approaching the whole challenge of closing the digital divide? When I was at our event in South Africa last month in Cape Town, we talked a lot about the digital divide and how to close the digital divide. And the WBBA has also produced our broadband investment guidebook for Africa, which again addresses different strategies for closing the digital divide. But could you say a little bit more about how you are approaching that?
Okay. First of all, I will start with our the national strategy. So we have the digital economy strategy that was launched by our president, the president of the United Republic of Tanzania, just last year in 2014. And that is a 10-year strategy from 2024 to 2034. So it was just launched last year, and we are implementing that. And we as TTCL, we see ourselves as the key enabler in implementing this digital economies strategy, whose intention, Martin, really is to address the issue of digital divide, as you say. We are a country of 60 million people. Most of our people are living in rural areas. and some of our people living townships and cities. But for all of this, the intention really is to make sure that the level of digital divide between people who are living in cities and townships and people who are living in rural areas, much as they need access to services which are provided by public or private sector, then we should be and we should be a key enabler in making sure that there's access. So how do we do that? We have translated the national digital economy strategy into our own strategy as an entity. So we have our own strategic plan, which started rolling this past July, so the 1st of July. And this is a 10-year strategy as well, where, as I said, we see our role as an enabler of the digital economy. And how we can do that is through, number one, the national ICT backbone. As I said, it's our assets, it sits within TTCL. And for us to be able to enable other mobile network operators and ISPs have access to this broadband backbone in a cost that will enable them to serve their customers who are citizens of this country and be able to pay at prices which are affordable. So we are selling these IRUs to these mobile network operators and ISPs so that they can be able to send these services to the people in their businesses, in their homes, in their services center, in all these places. So affordability is one of the mechanisms that we've put in place to make sure that we are selling the broadband in prices which are affordable. Number two, as I said, we are in the fixed space of our telecom business. We are the leading, and we want to continue to be the leading player in that space. So we are rolling out a plan, especially for fiber to the home and fiber to the office. And we have invested our resources to make sure that we expand that line of business, which is also a service, to make sure that we reach to as many people as we can. But also we are an entity which is a state-owned entity, as I said, area. And since the government has this digital economy strategy, then we have to be an enabler to make sure that we enable, whether it's e-government or e-health services, e-education, all these things. We should be able to enable that. And to be able to enable that is to make sure that the fiber that we have laid, which forms our broadband backbone, is maintained in a way that will ensure we have the redundancy across the country to ensure that there's not only affordability, but also always access. So in a way, affordability, but also accessibility, making sure that the network is out there and reaches to them. Now, for places like rural areas, the backbone also feeds into the towers, where you can use microwave, but also you can use our fiber to as a backbone into the towers. And part of the strategy is that the government, but also other mobile network operators, in this recent past, they have invested a lot into building a lot of towers in rural places. And our role, again, as an enabler, is to make sure that we use the national broadband backbone to backhaul into those towers to make sure that there's always accessibility of network to these towers, which have been built to serve the rural areas. So these are some of the strategies, mechanisms, and action plans that we've put in place to make sure that we minimize the digital divide, especially between people in the townships and people in the rural places.
Very good. And right at the start of our conversation, you mentioned that you also invest in data centers. And one of the topics that has risen a lot over the last 6 to 9 months is it's not just the digital divide, but it's the AI divide as well that may well exist in society, and that accelerates the digital divide. So is your investment in data centers part of your strategy to close the digital divide or the emerging AI divide?
You are spot on that one, and as you said, as I indicated area, we also have the invested in the data center. We call it the National ICT Data Center, which was the first, almost the first data center here in the country before we liberalized that space and to allow some other mobile network operators and other players in the market to operate data centers. So we have connected our national ICT broadband backbone with our data center in a way to leverage the two infrastructures and make sure that we serve the people the best that we can. And the two, they do relate in a sense like what you have put, but also now going forward is the issue, the whole issue around AI and how that also brings about a divide for the people. So we see ourselves as I indicated area as a key player, but also a key enabler to make sure that whether it's a question of the digital divide or the AI divide, among and between our communities, we play the role to make sure that we minimize that level of divide between our people in these two aspects of the telecommunication technology. So yes, we are there. We have these infrastructures that we have invested into, whether it's the NICTBB or the NIDC, and we see ourselves being the leader, continuing to be the leader in providing these integrated services and making sure that this kind of divide are minimized to the whatever possibilities that we can be able to minimize.
Excellent. I mean, and I'm really impressed with kind of the holistic nature of the strategy that you're putting in place. As I said, we're delighted you've joined the WBBA. And maybe as a final question, is there anything how do you think WBBA can best help Tanzania, but also all of your peer countries across Africa over the coming few years? What is the most important roles that WBBA can take on over the coming years to really help accelerate excellent broadband for everyone in Africa?
Thank you for that question, Martin. We have become more interested in the WBBA just in the recent past 1 or 2 years past, and we have taken the interest of what the association is doing and capacities that it has, the role that it can play, the leverages that it can dispense, and what we have seen and probably what we expect to continue to see is that we can be able to leverage whether ourselves or even the countries or the people that we serve across the region in this eastern and southern part of Africa to learn from the best practice. And one of those best practices, Martin, is the kind of research that you did. Just some few weeks ago in South Africa, as you said, there was a launch of another research that came out of WBBA. And I know to be able to produce this research, you collect a lot of data, and we should be able to also front ourselves into sharing some of the information and data and other aspects of the researches that you do. And then upon concluding those research, you share between and among members. And these are experiences that we should be able, and we envisage to be able to learn from other markets. What are the best practices? What is it that we are not doing right, and what others are doing better than what we are doing, effective than we are doing? We expect that those kind of research and which are supported by data, we should be able to take advantage of that and leverage from those researches and be able to consume that knowledge sharing and in a way use it to promote the digital inclusion here in Tanzania, but also worldwide. And we know the broadband aspect with this digital inclusion plays a significant role again compared to other technologies that were used, but also are used in some aspects of the telecom here and there. But the broadband is a very significant player in that aspect. So again, collaboration, us being on the table, knowledge sharing, and using those lessons into our local environment and ending up into promoting the digital inclusion in Tanzania, but also across the region. We think that will be a significant role that being member of the WBBA will be able to help us. And in a way, WBBA being an enabler, I guess, into emphasizing issues like innovation and also a global leader in this space. Basically, we should be able to learn from the best.
Excellent, excellent. I can fully agree with everything you have said there. I think the WBBA has invested a lot of time and effort, as you mentioned, over the last couple of years in Africa and growing our relevance in Africa and making sure of our statistics and indices for the industry fully embrace Africa, and running our events, of course, as well. And as we move into 2026, I just see more of that, and I fully intend that the innovation and strong thinking from yourselves and from our other members across the continent will really help drive WBBA forward. Yes, you can learn from other parts of the world, but I think you can also teach other parts of the world about how to be innovative in sometimes challenging circumstances. So with that, let me draw this to a close, and thank you for joining the WBBA, and looking forward to working with you throughout the coming years.
Thank you, Martin, and we are looking forward to that.
Thank you.